Howdy. I've been seeing a lot of videos like this on YouTube for the product, so I figured I'd do one for my own so that you guys can see what's up if you are interested in the product. So directions pretty simple. You just add warm water to it, mix it, get the ground cleaned up. The project that I'm doing this for is a rock garden that I've been working on this summer. It doesn't get a lot of sun here. In fact, usually it's pretty shaded, but I figure the sunny areas bit was more of just a marketing thing, and most moss, like all moss, prefers shade anyway. So I hope what little sun it gets is gonna be enough. So I did I have these 4 islands, so I did it in 4 different ways. I bought 2 bags of this. I figured this was probably under 30 square feet. So, get out of here. Got 4 islands here. So this first island, I kind of did little hand globs, little hand finger bits, plotted it all around. I tried to kind of clump it up more over here than over there to see what happens. Over here is a little more evenly spaced out, but further apart. And over here, I followed the directions on the thing more, which said like use the palm of your hand or a trowel to plop it on. So bigger handfuls, just kind of splatting it down. Came over here, started mostly just getting sediment, and so I figured it was starting to run out because take a handful, wouldn't get anything, and so I just kind of started pouring it and popping it down there. So my guess is that this will probably be the worst off, and I've got a good feeling about these 2. We'll see how that goes, but I'll come back in a month. I'm just gonna be watering it in the morning when I get up. All right, so we're on a 1-month update. It's been pretty much exactly 30 days. I watered almost every day. There are some days where it was too hot to water, and per instructions, if it's over 80 Fahrenheit, or what is that, like 26 maybe Celsius, you shouldn't water it. So took the liberty of taking those days off, and sometimes it just rained, so I wasn't going to water anyway. I have an update with it dry, and then I'm going to water it so you guys can see kind of a difference. First off, my hypothesis was completely wrong with these 2, which were spaced out a bit. And it was for one specific reason. It was because when it rains, the rain washes everything out. And if you have something like this where it's more clumped together, then the clumps can kind of stay together. But over here, unless you're in a very arid spot, I would not recommend that method. As you can see, the only spot really that kept was over here, where everything was super clumped together. And outside of that, the moss just kind of died out. So just go through these. So yeah, that's kind of how this is going. This is how it's a little unkempt. Apologize. I'm still doing some other things that take priority right now. But over here, this island essentially has nothing on it anymore. It all just kind of got washed away and dead. So I'll have to forage some moss or something probably to put that in. Over here, it's doing pretty well. We had some pretty hot days, so I think it kind of messed up a lot of the growth. But as you can see, there's this on the rock there that I had previously put on, and it's doing pretty healthy. So I want to believe that the rest of this moss will pick up pretty soon in the next month or 2. And then over here, it's kind of hard to tell. Little critters and stuff like to come around here, so I don't know if they're trotting or messing up, but there's a little bit of moss that kept over there. So now I'm gonna water it and see if there's a difference. So now that it's watered up, I think you might be able to see hues that are different between the dirt and the moss a little more, as it's still brown. You can see here, you know, it's kind of where it looks like. Over there, essentially nothing. Over here, it's doing pretty well, I'd say. There's pretty significant growth. There's some spots that are patched, you know, a little balded from what I originally put, but that's to be expected. That's kind of how margin of error is gonna go with these type of things, right? You can't expect all life to live. And here it'll be like that. So we'll see in 2-month update how everything turns out. I'm hoping it gets a little greener and be a job well done. All right, we're coming up on this 2-month update. It's a few days after, maybe like 5 days later, so not truly 2 months, but you get the picture. It's been raining a lot, so I have been watering pretty much every day, but usually I just let the rain take it. And it's been really hot too, so I'm worried of watering it and being too hot and having a moss, you know, intensify with the sun in the water or something like that. But yeah, so let's go through. I'll just go give an update of what everything looks like. So over here, if you remember, there was a big clump around here of stuff, and then the rest was kind of spaced out more. So the clump is fairly good, and there's a little bit of greenage coming out through it now, which is really sweet. I'm happy with that. I'm hoping by next month it'll really get in there and it'll start to expand. And over here we got same, I mean, yeah, this one, a lot of it really washed away. As you can see there's a lot of erosion that didn't used to be there, so it'll take some maintenance. I'm trying to leave it be a bit just in case there is moss, but I think I'll just have to take care of it. And over here you can see there is a little bit of green moss coming in, just slightly. Now this island, let's see, I think this is probably doing the best results. You can see over here that there's definitely a lot of greenage coming in, showing through there, and I'm hoping next month it'll really brighten up a lot more. This rock has kept pretty healthy, so I know this moss should be doing good in the time to come. And over here, I can't really tell how much of it is fallings from the tree above it or how much of it is the moss bit. So hopefully that'll figure something out and maybe help things out. Even like down here, yeah, it's slowly getting its green up. So that's very exciting. And over here, I had a bunch of moss on my garage roof, so that would be a waste to just chuck it away. So transplanted it down here, and that was about maybe 3-4 weeks ago, maybe I'd say about 3 weeks ago. And so that's doing pretty decent, I want to say. I think it's even expanded a little bit, but you get a lot of critters that kind of, you know, wanted to upturn it or, you know, probably eat it or something, check under it. So it does get frequent that I have to come over here and, you know, readjust stuff. But yep. And when it comes to the moss that is over here, pretty much all that, oh no, that's also transplant there, but there isn't really any sign of growth from the moss that has remained, and this was all sediment anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. What I am curious about, I don't know if it's a moss product or if it's a product of the soil that I bought, but there's these like pink white spots, kind of circular-ish things kind of scattered around. I don't know if that's mold. I don't know if that's just because of the dirt. Really have no idea. But I'm gonna go water it and show the results. All right, so I misted it and I'm gonna let the sun hit a little bit. I'm hoping it gets a little brighter than what you're seeing. Oh my God. Look how beautiful these ones are. I love it. I know like some people might be mad that there isn't a uniform moss for the whole area,
but I like the variety. It gives me something to stare at, and I'm hoping that the variety helps them cultivate stronger. But so yeah, this is here. We're gonna keep that root uncovered, and you can see little spores of it sort of coming out over there. So I'm hoping that it'll spread nicely. It already seems like it's spreading pretty decent. All right, now over here. Yeah, you can definitely see the green now. Very, very vibrant, I would say, from what it was before, you know, just mud before. Yeah, even over there. Even here, there's little hits of green that maybe next season. I think I'll continue to transplant. It seems like a pretty solid method so far. But gotta fix this island up. It's definitely a disaster. And over here, can't really tell too much. I'm still curious on the outcome of this, but we'll see in time to tell. Okay, viewers, it is now the 8th of September. It is about the 3-month update, and we're gonna go through some updates and just show things off. So I already kind of watered it down, cleaned up a little bit around here, made some improvements over the month, but we'll just go through each bit. Sundown now, so I'm hoping you can still see some things, but over here, I don't think it's really improved too much. I would even, I think the smaller bits went away and the larger bits are kind of maintaining, maybe getting a little bigger. So that's going there. Over on this island, I was getting really fed up with, especially at the edge by the garage there, when it would rain, it would kind of splatter all the dirt and cause more erosion. And I found a bunch of sidewalk moss and decided that it wasn't growing, but you know, what I had wasn't really growing, so might as well transplant it. It's getting a little yellow. It's been there for, I don't know, maybe a week, 2 weeks. It's getting a little yellowed out. It's probably getting a lot of sun, but it's also, you know, the start of September. So if it's not doing well, I think the roof moss will make a solid substitute, but you know, we'll see how this goes. And I think it's gonna make things look very nice. Over here, let's see, can't tell too much, but the green definitely is getting a little more visible, at least from further away. Bring this down, you can see that there. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping it'd be a little more girth to it by now, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna transplant any moss onto here and just let what's on here take control, since it was doing so well. But you can definitely see the green, and you know, who knows, there might be another month of growth period before all this moss goes dormant. And then over here, this is the roof moss. You can see it hasn't really expanded. I'd say it's grown within itself. It's gotten a little bit more cozy with each other. So I'm hoping next season, if it can survive, then we'll have some nice solid ground there. And over here, well, that moss just kind of died completely, didn't it? So this is going to probably be all transplant. Yeah, that's kind of how it's looking this month. Overall thoughts on the product. It definitely grew a lot slower than I thought it would, and it was a lot more expensive than I was hoping for what I got. I think with the 2 packages, including shipping, it was around $80. And essentially what I got out of it was that. So as one of these little islands. And part of that's my fault for not knowing how to put the moss on. That's one of the reasons I made this video, is because you gotta run the experiment, so you know there's some wisdom for whoever's trying to buy the product. In the future, I think transplanting like the roof moss there seems to cover a lot of ground. It seems like it's a pretty solid option. I can't, you know, I'll see maybe next season I'll give some more updates on this moss and see how it's grown from there, just so, you know, people can know in a, you know, over a winter how it's going to look in the next summer and all that. Because yeah, I don't think I will buy it again next season. I think I will stick to transplanting, as there is certainly an abundance of moss in the world. So yeah, that concludes this 3-month, and I hope that you learned something from all this. Thank you, and enjoy your day.